Hello everyone, a huge good afternoon to you and welcome to Ferrari Challenge for 2024 with our Trofeo Pirelli Race 1 to come of what will be an epic 2024 season of Ferrari Challenge racing. So a mix of our Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers are about to take to this Mugello circuit. 5.245 kilometers, 14 turns, 6 left, 8 right. 3 are in Sector 1, 6 are in Sector 2, and 5 are in Sector 3. And there's Babalous, one of the driver coaches, down there with his driver right now, just advising before the start of the race gets underway. The Trofeo Pirelli Am drivers have the white Adler strip across the top of the windscreen, as you can see. Our Trofeo Pirelli drivers have the red strip across the top of the windscreen. Bit of grey cloud, daunting as it is, you can see. The track temperature is currently 27 degrees. Air temperature is 18 degrees, 57% humidity, and just a flutter of wind of no more than 2 kilometers per hour to affect us on this undulating circuit, which is just under an hour from Florence, an hour and 10 from Bologna, situated in Scarperia here in Tuscany. And this year, we're racing the all-new Ferrari 296. First time with a 6-cylinder engine and an amazing 700 horsepower. It is a phenomenal car, which the drivers absolutely love. They really do like it. It's got a lot of innovative features, and it's very, very rewarding and forgiving racing car to drive. So we await our Trofeo Pirelli drivers, which is littered with great drivers. We'll tell you more about them in just a few moments' time. But it's a big, big grid of 25 cars that will be taking to the track for a new race duration. It's exactly 30 minutes plus 1 lap. Let's see the 296 on the track right now. And there it is then, our 32nd year of Ferrari Challenge racing. And this car is, as I say, absolutely awesome. 3-litre twin-turbo V6 with 700 HP available to the drivers. Big safety bulkhead inside the car means they have a rear view screen rather than an internal rear view mirror. And every driver that I have seen has just felt this car is absolutely remarkable to drive and to compete in. Just when you think that things can't get any better, Maranello comes up with a magnificent new car for the Ferrari Challenge, the 296. So there we are down there on the grid, and that's what it looks like ahead of our Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am race. And the Richard Mills safety car, of course, will lead the cars away on their formation lap in due course. Always a rolling start in the Ferrari Challenge. And going from pole position. Now, if you were watching our qualifying program earlier on, you will know that it was Timo Glock that set pole position. However, a infraction in the pit lane in terms of tyre pressures being adjusted meant that he lost his pole position, and he's going from P3 now, and that elevates Luca Ludwig to P1. Alongside him will be Philip Barron, and then right behind Luca Ludwig on the grid will be Timo Glock. And Timo was with us on the air just a little while ago as our Copa race took to the air, and Timo will be wanting to do some overtaking as we look at Angelo Fontana right now in the number 80 car. He's driver coach Nicolo Schiro. You can see just to the right-hand side of your picture, bent down, talking to our driver. There's John Dillon, who's just been on the podium in the Copa race. He took P3, and John Dillon will be absolutely delighted. I'm pretty sure that was John Dillon's first podium in the European Ferrari Challenge. And good to see Andrew Morrow, who is taking part in the European season this year as well. Lots of photographs being taken, of course, down there on the grid. So much interest in the Ferrari Challenge, which, of course, elevates young drivers into a brilliant position in terms of further GT racing, should they so desire. This is our new pole sitter, Luca Ludwig, then. And I say he's the new pole sitter because he was actually second fastest in our qualifying session, but because of an infraction in the pit lane, he lost that. He got elevated to P1 because Timo Glock, who was fastest in qualifying, he had his pole position taken away from him. And now we're looking at the drivers as they are preparing themselves to get this 30-minute plus one lap race underway. I am thrilled to say not only do we have guests in Copachel, we have guests in Trofeo Pirelli as well. And we were talking about young whippersnappers in motor racing. There's no more a whippersnapper than the young Oliver Bearman. Oliver, good afternoon.
Radio check.
Yeah, you're there. Welcome to the Ferrari Challenge weekend, which is an awesome weekend, isn't it?
Thanks for having me. First time in a commentary booth, so give me a bit more time. Let me, if I get the names wrong, feel free to correct me.
Do you know what? I might forgive you, friend. And now you can see just how glamorous this television business is.
It's beautiful. I'm a big fan.
We'll be chatting more to Oliver Bearman during the course of the race. Of course, he was he's just hot foot from other media activities down there, and he is now in the commentary studio with us. So we'll be chatting more during the course of the race. He's obviously been told, try and put Dave off if you can, and he's succeeded already. There is Luca Ludwig. Let's hear from the boss of the Ferrari Challenge and Corsa Clienti, and that is one Mr. Andrea Maladasic.
Here at Mugello for the season kick-off of the European Challenge Series. After Japan, United Kingdom and North America, we are here to launch this important season, which marks the debut of the new 296 Challenge. The numbers are amazing, more than 200 drivers in the world. Here at Mugello, 77 in the entry list and 70 participants.
Thank you, Andrea Maladasic, he does such a great job. And there you can see the cars are lined up. And as I said, some 25 of these brand new Ferrari 296 cars that are going to take to this track for 30 minutes plus one lap of Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli Racing. The Pirelli drivers, well, they have the red strip across the top of the windscreen. The AM drivers have the white strip across the top of the windscreen. And the number 8 car is the German driver Luca Ludwig, whose father, of course, Klaus Ludwig, in his own right, a very, very successful driver. But Luca is his own man, and by goodness, Luca is a great driver as well. You're very welcome to join us. We're delighted that you're there. And this man was with me on the air just a few moments ago. Timo Glock, who is one of the biggest characters in motor racing. And we had a lot of fun together on the air, and he's hoping to have a lot of fun out there on the track as well, because all of a sudden he's got to do some overtaking. He's got to go from P3 to P1. You can bet your bottom dollar, if anyone is capable of doing it and is going to want to do it, it's Timo Glock. We're delighted. Timo Glock is a Ferrari Challenge driver. And he's pretty thrilled about it as well. Really, really loving the experience of a Ferrari Challenge weekend here in Mugello. 30 minutes plus one lap is the new duration. The brand new car, the Ferrari 296. The 5.2 kilometer circuit of Mugello with 14 turns, 6 left, 8 right. Every ingredient is there for what should be an utterly epic race. And as if that were not enough, we're about to go racing. Cars are off on their formation lap then, led by the Richard Mills safety car. And we'll bring you the grid in full. It will appear as if by magic on screen for you. That mix of Pirelli and Pirelli AM drivers as they roar up the hill towards turn number 1, where you continue to climb after you've turned right. Here it comes. Luca Ludwig, pole position, alongside him Philip Barron. Then it's Timo Glock. Then the best of the AM drivers, Marco Zanazzi ahead of Jean-Luc Daria. Watch him, and watch James Owen. A great qualifying from James. Hendrik Viol and Franz Engsler, the old campaigner. He goes from P8. Then it's Klaus Sibranson and Andreas Berg Sorensen, and they are ahead of Kim Eriksson and Danilo Del Favaro. Andrew Morrow, UK champion last year, comes to the Europe this year. He goes from P13 with Hanno Laskowski alongside in P14. Then it is Max Mugello, never rule him out, and Angelo Fontana alongside. Laura Villar's young, talented driver, Otto Blank alongside. Then it's David Akobadzi and Herbert Gies, or Guys I should say. Gianmarco Marzioletti, and really out of position is Benz Valent. He's another driver that will come good. Ruslan Sadrev and Matthias Toman, P23 and P24, with Armin Arifpour going from P25 on the grid. We are just moments away from the race getting underway. Oliver Behrman alongside me. I've got to open this by saying the question that you've been asked 100,000 times is, following Jeddah, what were your emotions? I mean, well done, friend.
Thank you. Yeah, of course, it was a whirlwind of a weekend. I think I didn't really understand or didn't really appreciate kind of the gravity of what happened until a long time after, maybe Monday or Tuesday, because honestly during the race weekend I didn't have time to get nervous, to get emotional, and that's a good thing, because yeah, I was you know, straight there focusing on learning, catching up on what I missed out on, which was quite a lot, and yeah, I'm glad that it paid off and went well in the end.
It did pay off and it went very well. You should be very proud of yourself. You did an awesome job. And official reserve driver Oliver Behrman with us for certainly part of this Trofeo Pirelli race this afternoon. Into the garages we go, and you can see there the one of our driver coaches, Fabienne Volvend, who is in her own right no bad racing driver and therefore is able to offer advice to other drivers as well, and continues to do so. So the cars line up side by side in grid formation. You can already see some of the rubber that has been thrown off from the cars, and the Richard Mills safety car leading them around. The Mugello circuit then here is a very, very testing circuit for the drivers, and this is going to be an awesome race. Philippe Barron returning to the Ferrari Challenge from some years away. He's team boss, but not only is he team boss, he's racing again now. We throw the lighting gantry to the top of the screen so that you can see exactly what the drivers see as they approach the start of our first Trofeo Pirelli race for 2024. Richard Mills safety car indicates right, pulls off. Keep your eyes on Timo Glock. Keep your eyes on Philippe Barron. Luca Ludwig is going from pole position. Will he hold on to that going through turn number one? All the cars are on cold tyres, of course. They're not up to temperature yet. This is going to be harem-scarum stuff going into turn number one. Feel sure of that. There is the lighting gantry. The lights go out and let's go racing. Well, side by side they all go, and you can see Timo Glock trying to dive to the inside to find some room. There is Timo Glock on the inside of Luca Ludwig. Is he going to do this going into turn number one? They've all got cold tyres. Luca Ludwig, how did he hold on to that car? But he did. I thought he was going off. But Timo Glock, what a move from P3 on the grid. The tyres are still cold as they go into the first chicane for the first time of asking. Who is going to come out of this unscathed? Well, the start is under investigation, but Timo Glock has put it into P1. What a move right at the start. You've got to be so brave, and you've got to have really big round things to be prepared to go right up to the wall and be close to the wall. And I think Luca Ludwig, unfortunately, is in utter strife here, as it was an awesome start from Jean-Luc Daria as well, who has vaulted up to P2 ahead of Philippe Barron. And Marco Zanazzi is leading in the AM drivers. My goodness me, what an opening few turns that was. The start is formally under investigation. And we will see what Claudio Garavini, our race director, has to say about the start. But it is on track. Timo Glock leading from Jean-Luc Daria. Then it is Philippe Barron, P3. The best of the AM drivers is Marco Zanazzi. Then it's Franz Engstler, Hendrik Viol, Klaus Branson, and Andreas Berg Sorensen. They settle themselves down a little bit now and head on this undulating Mugello circuit. I have to say, Jean-Luc Daria is not being fazed by the fact that he has almost a legend in front of him in Timo Glock, because he is really taking it to him. Let's take a look at the start once again. How did it all pan out? What do you reckon to this, Mr. Oliver Behrman? Man, what a start.
This was a good reaction from Timo. He really went for it, and I was a bit scared when I saw them 4 wide into turn one.
I mean, he
Bit
really
across the white
was-
line, but
Yes, I'm curious as to how the race direction will view that, honestly. But you know what? Motor racing for me and for you, because you do it and you do it so very well, of course. It's entertainment, and you know, by Jiminy, the Ferrari Challenge is entertaining. I mean,
you could see how much they were sliding around here on the entry of turn 1 with the cold tires. It was a bit of a scary one to watch from here.
let's have a look on board. What's it like from an on-board perspective? They're pretty exciting, and yeah, rubbing is racing, they say, and there was a bit of rubbing going on, wasn't there? Oh, and good reactions there and good avoidance. And I mean, Philip Barron there being nerfed out wide. We could see through the windscreen as well. And that was Timo on the inside of Luca Ludwig from our rear-facing onboard camera there. He was just determined right at the start of the race, and he made it count. Philip Barron returning there, and this is riding on board with Luca Ludwig, who
looks like he got damaged.
Yeah, I reckon he might have picked up a puncture or something. It was just enough, wasn't it? Unfortunate.
Yeah.
And yeah, the car beached at that point. So, and there you can see the reactions from inside the Barron garage. Of course, the Philip Barron team, and really rather less emotive reactions on that pit wall. Oh, that's a great shame. It is a retirement for Luca Ludwig. And as a racing driver, that's bitterly, bitterly disappointing.
Yeah, it hurts, especially on lap 1 when it's so tight. You know, you need to try and be careful, of course, not to get damaged, but you have to have your elbows out, and sometimes it ends like that through no fault of your own.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you are seeing Ferrari Challenge at its best here now. I can bring you more news, and that is that our driver that is running in P3, Philippe Barron, in the all-red car here, has picked up a drive-through penalty for an incorrect starting alignment. So basically, that means when they crossed the line, he wasn't where he should be, and therefore has picked up a drive-through penalty. Philip Barron is not the sort of person to take that lying down, and I think he might well be having a discussion about that after the race. But once you've got a drive-through penalty, you've got it, because you've only got 3 laps to serve that, haven't you?
Yeah, it's race over basically, unfortunately, unless maybe a safety car comes out after he serves the penalty. But I'm glad that they don't broadcast the radio here, because I'm sure he won't be best pleased.
Yeah. Yeah, he certainly won't be. He won't be best pleased. Something really, really devastating when you're a driver, having done as well as you have. And in fairness, I think he was the receiving end of some nerfing going into turn number 1.
Yeah.
But if he wasn't in the right place when he crossed the line, that is an infringement, and therefore he has picked up a penalty. There's Jean-Luc Daria, who, like Oliver Beerman alongside me, is a young whippersnapper, and the Trofeo Pirelli class of the Ferrari Challenge really being used as a springboard for young drivers and success. Marco Zanazzi, driving in the AM class, sets the fastest lap, a 1:51.869. This Mugello circuit is a really difficult circuit to master, Oliver, but of course it has good memories for you.
Yes, one of my favorite tracks, first of all. Plus I have some very good memories attached to it. I won the Formula 4 championship here, the Italian F4, in 2021, which really kick-started my racing career. Off the back of that, I joined the Ferrari Driver Academy, and now I find myself here. So yeah, it's one of the most fun tracks that I've ever driven on, and I'm really sad that I haven't driven here for a while, because it's such a high-speed track. Yeah, needs a lot of commitment, especially in Sector 2. Or as we
Talking of commitment,
a little bit of contact there.
you timed that perfectly, didn't you, really? And you know, going back to your, I first talked about you, and it was in German Formula 4 rather than Italian Formula 4 when you first came to my attention. And there is no doubt, as we can see here, now that was a bold and ambitious move, but it paid off. And there's more of those going on, as Andrew Morris fighting here with Kim Eriksson. Andrew Morrow, who won the championship in the UK last year. What's remarkable about Andrew Morrow, Oliver, is up until 2 years ago, he had not even been in a racing car.
Wow.
And now here he is racing in the Ferrari Challenge Trophy.
One of the fastest tracks in the world.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Impressive.
Yeah, going back to Formula 4, junior single-seaters, I mean, you know, clearly you were always full of ambition and aspiration, but did you really imagine yourself becoming a Ferrari Formula 1 reserve driver at that time?
I guess at the time, no, but everything has evolved very quickly. You know, it's only 3 years ago that I was in F4.
Yeah.
And now I've got a F1 race under my belt. So it's been a really quick progression, and every step has come pretty fast. Of course, missing one more step to get up there, but of course, it takes a while for it to, you know, become a reality, and I'm glad it's in process of becoming a reality.
I must say that not only have you got a race under your belt, you've got a points scoring race under your belt. Come on, let's big you up here, friend. You deserve that. Right, Timo Glock is leading by 1.226 seconds over Jean-Luc Darrieux.
Starting to stretch his legs.
Yes, he is a bit, isn't he? And then Philippe Barron, who of course has not yet taken his drive-through penalty. Now that's going to elevate Franz Engstler up into P3. Now, Franz Engstler is 104 years old. No, I'm joking. He is an older driver. But he won the Trofeo Pirelli AM Championship last year. He won the Coppershell Championship the year before. So he gets elevated to Trofeo Pirelli. And what amazes me, I mean, the Engstler history in motorsport, and Franz Engstler in particular,
is
massive, isn't it? You know? And it's just proof that old duffers like me can still go out there and do it. And Franz is doing it. He's going to be
never too late.
It's absolutely. He's going to be in a podium place. As we focus on Trofeo Pirelli AM at the moment, Marco Sanazzi leading that from Hendrik Viol. And Hendrik Viol is a great driver as well. Now, Philippe Barron, he's got to take this drive-through penalty. Is it going to be this lap that he chooses to do so? Basically, you get 3 laps within which you've got to take that drive-through penalty, and if you don't, you get a further penalty, which is kind of the last thing. Now, I suspect the team are protesting it.
Yes, I'm sure. But I think considering the fact that he's stuck, it seems, behind the car in front, try and take it as soon as possible and, yeah, get in some clean air. But I think I'm sure he won't be too happy to enter in the pit lane when he has the chance of a podium ahead of him. Let's see if he goes in.
Sure,
there he
right.
goes.
There he does. So he's also
sad to see.
Yes, he's just been warned about exceeding track limits as well. The place to exceed the track limits, it would appear, is turn 4, going into the first chicane. That's where every driver seems to just try and stretch those white lines a little bit, and he has been warned about that. Basically, you get 3 warnings, and then you get a wrap across the knuckles. So that changes the order to Timo Glock. Then it is Jean-Luc Darrieux and Franz Engstler. They are the top 3. Here comes Philippe Barron. Now, what I can tell you about Philippe Barron is once he's got the bit between his teeth, he will be livid, he will be furious, he will drive like an utter demon.
He'll be setting purple sectors, I think.
Yes, I think he will. I think he will. Talk about tyre deg, it could almost be on the rims and he will still be setting fastest laps. He's that sort of a driver. So expect to see some overtaking to come from Philippe Barron now, who's returned, I think, in P12 or P13 in the race overall. We're looking at the number 86 car right now, driving in the Trofeo Pirelli. That's Benz Valint, who is making his way up the order. He's P4, and oh my goodness me, as if we didn't need any more drama, our race leader, one Mr. T. Glock, has just picked up a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits at the start. You spotted it, Oliver, more than I did.
I didn't report it, Timo, I promise.
Yes, you know, he was making the tarmac a tad wider than it really was.
Yeah, I mean, the run down to turn 1 is so wide here, and you have such a wide pit entry that it's very tempting to take it, and obviously he did so. Now he's going to have to try and open up 5 seconds. Speaking about Benz earlier, he's really making his way through the field, and information about him is that he was my teammate in F4.
Wow.
So the year that I won the championship, he
yes,
was my teammate. So it's great to see him doing so well. He had a difficult qualifying with the red flag, but he's been flying. And his dad is also racing in the other category. So
his dad was a winner.
It's great to see them. His dad won the race.
His dad won the race. And funnily enough, I was talking to your dad, and we were talking about his race wins in the UK. So it's extraordinary. This motorsport world is a small world, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, now Benz has to live up to his dad's achievement.
Clearly, we're delighted that you're with us here this weekend. Of course, your racing focus at the moment, setting aside the fantastic job you did in Jeddah, and what a debut that was in Formula One. You have your own championship to seal.
In F4? Yes. Exactly, and it happened here actually in Italian F4.
Sorry, I was more relating to where you are right now in terms of driving and what you need to achieve and what your ambitions and aspirations
Yes,
are. I mean,
it is.
and it must be really. I don't know how I would cope with that, of being in this position of being in the car as you were in Jeddah, and then of course you've kind of always got to take that hat off and think, no, I've got to get back to racing and doing it. You know, I'm not going to be doing this every weekend. You know, for the moment.
It was really nice to get a taste of what it's like to do an F1 weekend and to experience the F1 car for a long time. Before that, I'd only done, single test days. So to be in the car in consecutive days and really get to grips with it was such a great feeling. But then, yeah, realizing that it was over pretty quickly, I was, of course, quite disappointed. It was nice to get back in the F2 car because it feels like home. But, of course, getting a foot in the door gives me a motivation to spend a bit more time in the F1 car.
Yeah, of course. And the F2 championship is no mean championship. My goodness me, that is tough.
Very competitive this year. We have a new car, so a lot of teams, we're all figuring it out as we go. Not a lot of testing available in the F2 championship. So, yeah, we're all working really hard. We just got back from Barcelona in-season test where we've improved a lot with the car. And, now the European leg of the season starts where, consistency rewards.
Right. We're really going to make you work hard here, Oliver, because right now
we have another track limit.
We have another 5-second track limit time penalty. Now that is for the driver that's in P2.
So Timo can calm down now because he was of course pushing flat out to try and open up 5 seconds, and now it won't be necessary.
So the big beneficiary of this could be Franz Engstler, who currently sits 11 seconds behind the race leader. Take off 5 seconds, take off another 5 seconds. So all of a sudden, Franz Engstler's right in the mix.
Could be in the race here.
How much of this information do you think comes through on the radio from your team telling you all of this? Because you've almost got to have computational mathematics to be able to suss it all out.
Yeah, trying to, of course, achieve the fastest lap time possible while thinking about the strategy of all the other cars and penalties and stuff is really difficult. I think in Franz's situation, I would like to be told what's happening ahead of me.
Yeah.
Give me an extra motivation to keep pushing, and if the win is a possibility or even a P2, I would be going for it.
We're watching the number 85 car right now, which is one of our Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers, which is Hanno Laskowski, who drives for Emil Frey Racing. Emil Frey in the Ferrari Challenge, and Hanno Laskowski is another driver that's just picked up a time penalty. Our production colleague, Nico Spalek behind me, is actually furiously working away on the laptop, working out who's got what in terms of time penalties. So the order might be somewhat different when we get towards the end of the race. My goodness me, almost the first half of the race is done and dusted already. We're watching Klaus Branson, who is running P2 in the Trofeo Pirelli AM race with Marco Zanazzi P1 at the moment. And
it's a very tight battle.
It is a tight battle. There is merely, 5/10 between the two of them?
It's going to be an interesting one. I'm cheering for Marco. I know him personally, so I'm watching him. Oh my gosh, he goes a bit wide.
He ran wide.
Commentator cars there. So I'll stop talking about him.
He took a wide line through turn number 1, but of course you can afford to do that because you're running uphill. And but for the moment, Klaus Branson is right on.
Putting a lot of pressure.
He is, isn't he? He's piling it on now. So. And this is the measure of a great driver, because not only have you got to be a good overtaker and be able to take your chances, actually there are occasions when you've got to be a good defender as well, Oliver.
Yeah, situations like this, you're trying to, in Klaus's situation, you're trying to make yourself big in the mirrors of the guy ahead, showing your nose in corners where obviously you're not going to pass, but it scares them, and the goal here is to force a mistake. There's no DRS or no overtaking aids here in this championship, so the main goal is to force a mistake, and you can see him just looking in some corners, trying his best to make a missed apex. So
let's
we
take
see
a replay here. There's plenty going on wherever you look, and this is turn number 1 leading up to turn number 2, where no harm done there, thankfully, and that was a battle further on down the order as Marco Zanazzi and Klaus Branson continue their quest here. And of course, the more these two fight, what it will do, it will play a little bit into the hands of Hendrik Viol, who might be able to get closer to them as well. He's got James Owen, though, for company, and that is That's not allowing Hendrik Viol to be able to get onto this battle for the lead in Trofeo Pirelli because
2 by 2.
yes, it is a bit.
That makes life quite difficult. You know, it's easy to when you have something to aim for. You know, he's got a gap in front. Does Hendrik, and that's you know, something to aim for. And since these guys are fighting and, you know, starting to make mistakes, maybe he can start to claw back a little bit. But also you've got James Owen right behind, giving pressure as well. So it's the same predicament.
And of course, now we're into the second half of this race. New race duration for Ferrari Challenge this year, 30 minutes plus 1 lap. That's an additional lap of tyre deck that you've got to manage potentially. The Pirelli tyres are awesome, but inevitably, when it comes towards the end of the race, they are going to be less awesome than they were at the start of the race. And subsequently, you've got to manage that as well. And it makes the car perhaps a little bit looser. And therefore, if you've nursed your tyres a bit better, then clearly you could fall prey to that person that's running right behind you. So it'll be interesting to see whether Klaus Sebranson has been just a little bit smoother than Marco Zanazzi. We will see.
Yeah, and you can see with this track, so many high-speed corners. It's a lot of energy on these tires. You can see just how much the sidewalls of the tires flex in the slow-mo shots, and it's really impressive. But yeah, during the race, the cars are moving around a lot more, especially in the entries, and yeah, it makes the drivers more prone to mistakes, and that's where things get interesting.
You're a championship-winning race driver at this very circuit. Where would you pile on the most pressure? Where is the place where you can really make it stick?
Well, turn 1, of course, is after a very long straight.
Yes.
So try and put some pressure in the last corner. Oh, we cut away there, but
yes.
Yeah, to try and get a good run down the straight and into turn 1. And it looks like Klaus has exited the last corner pretty close, so I think this might be interesting.
And I've always said, you know, going around that final turn here, turn 14, I've always thought you can it almost looks, if you take a different line, you can almost slingshot off of that turn, because what you don't necessarily see in the television, which you as a racing driver experience, is you've got 2 elevation changes on the start finish straight where you climb uphill. So the more momentum you can get off the back of that turn, surely it's got to be to advantage.
Exactly, and there's so many lines you can take. It's such a wide corner and long corner that you can really change the way that you approach it, also depending on the balance you have and how your tires feel. You can see even in most corners that they have quite differing approaches. And it's also to have clean air on the car, it gets more downforce. So if you follow directly behind someone, it's more difficult. You try to open up the corner a little bit more and get some clean air on the front of your car.
10.5 minutes plus 1 lap as this battle that's going on for the lead in Trofeo Pirelli Am continues, with Marco Zanazzi leading by 0.3 over Klaus Sebranson currently. This is Andreas Berg Sorensen that we look at right now, and Andreas Berg Sorensen trying to claim a little bit too much curb there, and the back end kicking him around. That's a great shame. He is Andreas Berg Sorensen. I first met him in the Ferrari Challenge Winter Series last year when we raced in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and he's such an improved driver, but just proves that you are on a knife edge as a racing driver, and if you go over that edge, sometimes it's going to bite you on the bottom.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, it's such a... you want to let the car move around a bit and try not to overreact to it, because of course you lose time. But in doing that, you open yourself to mistakes, and here we see...
Oh no! That was a fight for the lead in the AMs as Marco Zanazzi and Klaus Sebranson were trading. Here we go. Let's pick it up here. Ollie, come on.
Marco on the inside, he should have the advantage, but let's see on the entry who's braver on the brakes.
Well, I have to say, and I know that you're rooting here for Marco Zanazzi, but I tell you what, that was brave stuff. But he's not letting him get away with it.
Not just for free. He's gonna fight him for that one. But no, that was a great move around the outside. Really good on the brakes there. So yeah, great move.
So Klaus Sebranson then he's moved up 8 places in this race, and he is now leading it over Marco Zanazzi. See it all over again. It was so good. We'll do it again. And there, you can use the outside line through turn number 1, but by goodness, you've got to have so much confidence in the car, haven't you?
Yeah, you also have to have confidence in the car on your inside that they're not going to overshoot, because of course that's what you risk when going around the outside. But he seemed to trust Marco, and they played fair.
dare I say it, racing room and respect was left, and now that he's been released from the cork in the bottle, he's up the road, isn't he?
Exactly. He's managed to pull a gap, and it looks like that's sealed the deal. Touch wood.
Talking of pulling gaps, some 6.5 seconds to the good right now is Timo Glock, and Timo has somewhat gilded experience now following his overtake right at the start of the race. He's just opened up. Timo on the air, exactly where you sit right now. Just half an hour ago was saying that, you know, to get into this car, and he was explaining probably what you experience as well, and that is when you actually get into a car for the first time that you've not driven before, but when that car has got the Prancing Horse logo on it, there is some emotional attachment. It's really something else.
Yeah, there's something different about wearing a red suit.
Yes.
With a Prancing Horse on it. My first F1 test was with Ferrari, and you know, you put the suit on and you look in the mirror, and it's emotional. And of course, also having completed a race in a Ferrari F1 car, I can agree that there's something more to it driving a red car. It's a great honor.
Well, that's you're repeating exactly what Timo seemed to think as continuing the action. It goes on, as you can see. Now, this isn't a not in-class battle. This is a battle out of class, because we've got a Trofeo Pirelli driver on the left-hand side of your screen, and he's almost the sandwich in the middle of two AM drivers who are running their own race. It's Max Mugello, who is one of the more experienced Trofeo Pirelli drivers. Max Mugello is currently running in P14 in the race overall, and he's got a queue of cars, including Laura Villas, Kim Eriksson, and wow, that is a race and a half that is going on here. It's almost a five-way fight for this, and it could all end up in a big heap. But the drivers are so good that well, we will see, as it's Laura Villas who is really taking it to Max Mugello, and yeah, that's very, very enjoyable to watch. And Max Mugello having to stick his elbows out. Now, of course, you know, it's frustrating if you're an AM driver here, because you're kind of being held up by a driver that's not in your category, but that's part of racing.
Exactly. The risk is that you lose a place, you know, in your class. But I think she's going to get past. She seemed to have a decent pace advantage. You can see Timo here has the experience of tire degradation, because as the race goes on, he's pulling out his gap exponentially. So he's done a good job managing the tires. Clearly, you can tell he's been in an F1 car before.
Do you know what's really irritating about you? Is you can use words like exponentially in exactly the right place. Good looking, tall, top racing driver. Blooming egg. Timo Glock is leading by 9 seconds. That's remarkable. Klaus Sebranson is leading in the AMs. And we've got 5 minutes plus 1 lap of this race remaining. It is Ferrari Challenge, the opening Trofeo Pirelli race of the 2024 season. We're live from the Mugello circuit here in Tuscany, having a great time of it, and really, really enjoying this. Looking at the number 92 car of Hendrik Viol, we were just a moment ago. As
we go back to this fight.
Here comes Laura.
Around the outside. She's got in deep.
Oh, the back end of the car just let go a little bit.
Wow, they're going for it then, considering it's not, you know, oh my goodness, considering it's not a fight on track. You see how, you know, she's put a lot into trying to overtake the car ahead, and now she's at risk of being overtaken.
I was going to say Angelo Fontana could be the driver that's going to take advantage of this,
exactly,
because the more Laura is trying to attack Max Mugello, it's opening up for the driver that's following Laura, or the drivers that are following Laura, including Andreas Berg Sorensen and Kim Eriksson, who are both in that mix as well. So it's really, really, my goodness me, 3 abreast into that turn, running downhill, and
you don't want to go side by side.
That was a door mirror gone there, wasn't it?
That was a risky move, but seemed to pay off. So that's interesting.
Car number 91 is Philippe Baron, who has been really, really driving very, very hard to get himself back up the order. He's just picked up a time penalty for track limits. I just thought I'd mention that. And another one that is picking up a time penalty is Hanno Laskowski for Emil Frey Racing. But let's get back to this battle, which Max Mugello is heading. Now, Max Mugello is currently running P6 in class, but is P13 overall, and the queue for 14, 15, 16, 17 is like a supermarket checkout, truthfully. My goodness me, Laura Villas, I have to say I'm so impressed because she has tried every which way, but her determination is not thwarted at all. And she's having to attack and defend as they... Oh, and that's she receives contact from Kim Eriksson. And all heck breaks loose as we have Ferrari 296 is spinning around like a Kylie Minogue record. Unfortunately, that means that I'm sure it's going to be the safety car. And there's no question, because there are cars beached, and that will be the end of this race. And Ollie Behrman alongside me, I mean, you saw that, and I was just extolling the virtues of Laura and the way she dealt with that so well, and it just looked like it was a completely unintentional, innocuous touch on the back. And when you're on the limit like that,
you're going into the corner, you know, you're on the limit of the brakes and turning at the same time, and, you know, a little touch is enough to get you out of shape. So unfortunate, because it looked like the move was sealed, and yeah, a lot of damage there for the 7 car.
And the Kim Eriksson car dived to the inside, you see. To me, I mean, it was completely unintentional.
Yeah,
but
just enough of a touch to get her out of shape, and yeah, it's
when
unfortunate.
you've got 6 cars running so close together like that, of course, and you're on the edge, it's always, unfortunately, it's always going to be something of a disaster. So safety car is called for. There is the Richard Mills safety car leading the cars around, and it's on track.
Timo has a penalty, and so does Jean-Luc Doria. So
the one driver that I don't think has got a penalty is let's see it from a different angle here. Well, I can see from there, and
there was actually 2 crashes there, because the 71 and the 7 in the background also made a separate contact, probably avoiding the first initial crash. So yeah, unfortunate.
But Kim definitely braked later than Laura.
Yes, and that's where mistakes happen. The problem is that when you're on the inside of the corner, you don't have the marker boards, which are often references that you use for braking. So when you're braking on the inside, and, you know, you've got cars all around you, it's really hard to actually spot where the corner is, and, you know, a tiny misjudgment can come with big consequences.
Can we just talk about what we were talking about
yes,
before we
I was
saw those
saying
sequence of replays?
The top 2 have a 5-second penalty, if I'm not mistaken.
Who doesn't have a time penalty, to the best of my knowledge?
Our 103-year-old friend. How old is he, actually?
I'm glad you said that. France, it was nothing to do with me. It was Ollie that said you were that age. No, France is senior. I looked at my producer behind me here, who's going to tell me how old France is.
It's quite impressive. I hope at that age I can still race. That's,
of course. There's no
that's
question
pure passion.
about that.
I love it.
Yeah, no, and he's like you. He's such a nice guy as well. Do you know what I mean? And Franz Hengstler is actually 62 years of age and has a similar hairstyle to mine. He doesn't have much. And of course, his son Luca is a great racing driver as well. So a great racing family. A bit like the Behrman name, really. So this is it. The race is going to finish under the safety car. I know you have to go off and do other media duties now.
At some point.
Can I just say what an honour it was for us to have you in our commentary studio. So enjoyed it, and actually you brought so much to the programme.
Thank you. I'm really glad. Hope I didn't do too badly.
No, you didn't. I've got your scorecard here, and I'll be marking it accordingly, of course. But no, you did really good, and I hope you really, really enjoyed your first experience of broadcasting in the Ferrari Challenge.
No, it was fantastic, and I think the people's winner won. Oh, what a sad sight here.
It is a sad sight, but, Ollie, let me ask you, as a racing driver, you know, you have to pick yourself up from moments like this, don't you? And you've got to do it all over again. You've got to do it all over again tomorrow. Exactly.
You start again tomorrow, and, you know, she had good pace. It was going really well for her, so... of course, it's difficult. Hopefully the car is not too damaged. It looks okay, honestly. So, yeah, clean slate tomorrow, start again, and go for it.
Ollie, once again, thanks so much. You go off and do your additional media duties.
Thank you very much.
You've been a star on the air, you really have. And thanks very much to
everyone.
Ollie Behrman then with us on the air for that Trofeo Pirelli race, which will end under the safety car as predicted. And, well... There we are. It's not how we want to see a race end, but it's unfortunate. And when the action is so good and so thick and fast, as indeed it has been during that race, it was an unfortunate consequence of everyone trying really hard to make up places. The incident in turn 15 is under investigation. There's no doubting that, and well, final lap under the safety car, no overtaking. On track, it's Timo Glock from Jean-Luc Daria and Franz Engstler, P1, 2 and 3. The AM drivers, Klaus Sebranson, Marco Zanazzi, Hendrik Viol. On track are the top three. Benz Valint is P7 overall, but it's P4 in Trofeo Pirelli, ahead of James Owen, who's P4 in Pirelli AM, P8 overall. Then it is Philippe Baron, returning, of course, from a drive-through penalty. Then it's Danilo Del Favaro, Hanno Laskowski, Andrew Morrow, Herbert Guys, David Akabadze, and Otto Blank. So, there we are under the final lap. We are in the final lap, which is under the safety car. And the cars all heading back to the pit lane. And I actually wonder whether they'll use the shortcut because of all the stricken cars around the final turn. We will see. So the Richard Mills safety car leading the cars around then to bring to a close this Trofeo Pirelli race. Now, do bear in mind with all the time penalties that have been awarded, they will be added to the race times respectively as they have crossed the line for the last lap. And only then will we get the order. We believe that the P1, 2 and 3 will alter for the Trofeo Pirelli. We think it's going to be France that takes the win, but only race direction and race control will be able to confirm that when we see the data as it translates to our timing screen and also to the graphics that you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. This was the Trofeo Pirelli Race 1. And sure enough, they're using the entire circuit, and there you can see some disappointed drivers walking away from their cars. Credit to all the drivers for trying really hard and putting on a really entertaining race. And you can see bits of debris on the track, and I suspect that the safety car will peel off into the pit lane and allow the drivers to take the checkered flag. We're going around the final turn now. Yes, sure enough, a safety car is headed off into the pit lane, and the cars will head towards the line and take the checkered flag. As I say, on track, Timo Glock takes the checkered flag ahead of Daria, but it is, as I predicted, Franz Engstler that wins, and actually Benz Valint will take P2. And Timo Glock still gets a podium. He retains a podium place, but it will be P3. So Franz Engstler, Trofeo Pirelli AM champion last year, elevated to Trofeo Pirelli this year, sets his stall out once again and takes the win. There is Timo Glock, still gets a podium out of this. He'll be jolly pleased about that, and it's been a good afternoon for the Valint family, with Benz taking P2. And there you can see all the cars now just about having taken the checkered flag. So P2 for the 86 car of Benz Valint, P3 in Trofeo Pirelli for Timo Glock. And all quiet on the Western Front as the cars make their way into the pit lane. Congratulations to Klaus Sebranson and to Marco Zanazzi and Hendrik Viol. They are the top three in the Pirelli AMs. So race winner confirmation is Franz Engstler. No stranger to winning races is Franz. Truly, really lovely gentleman, and I hope he will forgive me for being flippant with his seniority. I'm sure he will. They're a wonderful family and a very good and talented racing drivers, and France will be thrilled to have been able to take that win. And there, all the cars into the Parc Fermé area as Timo Glock exits his car. The mix of Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers who have provided really, really exciting racing for us this afternoon. The first race of our 2024 season, a season which will take in Hungary, Spain, Portugal, France, Germany. Yeah. Which this man will love because he knows the Nürburgring circuit pretty well, does Franz Engstler. Well done indeed to Franz Engstler. Very, very hard luck to Laura Villas there, who is having to walk back to the paddock with her car stricken. And well done to Hendrik Viol. We could just see him removing his balaclava. And there is Jean-Luc Daria. Sadly, not a podium. It's a P4 for Jean-Luc. Hugely talented driver, that's for sure. Really nice young man as well, and so many young stars making their way from the Ferrari Challenge, using the Ferrari Challenge as a springboard to success. And there, two old German campaigners together, Timo Glock and Franz Engstler. Okay, here comes Franz Engstler, who will be talking to Ludovica very, very soon.
We see again maybe in one of the best spots of the circuit under the podium. You won the race, a very tough race. Can you tell us more about today?
Of course, it's really one of the best plays for me. Last year I could win the Ferrari Mondiale, and now in my first race here I could have another victory, so it was really brilliant. In the beginning we had, especially in the qualifying, not the best performance, but it was my fault. I don't feel really confident in the car, so in the race I could adapt my driving style and manage the race, and this is really unbelievable. Thank you so much. And this victory is for my son. He won last week in DTM's, his first race, and it's really for my son. I'm so proud of them.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, friends. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Yeah.
We echo those congratulations, France, to Luca Ludwig. Many congratulations to you, Luca. And we will be talking to Klaus Sebranson in just a few moments' time. And this is the car that took him to that P1 position in Pirelli Am.
Klaus, congratulations. First podium for you of the season, a very tough race. I want to ask you, how did you build the race and the strategy with your team for this big result?
I think what we have done so far is just building up, so starting practicing and going further and further, and then everything just came into place in the race. It didn't work out that well in the qualifier, and now the race just turned out tremendous. First race ever, first win ever in this season, so off to a good start.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well done, Klaus Sebranson, doing a good job for Formula Racing. We will be heading to the podium in due course. Meantime, here is confirmation of the classification. Franz Engstler taking the win from Ben Svalint, P2, Timo Glock, P3. Then it was Jean-Luc Daria, Philippe Baron, Max Mugello, and Luca Ludwig. They occupy P5, 6, and 7. And we'll be taking a look at the AM results as well in just a moment. Formula Racing driver Klaus Branson taking the win ahead of Marco Zanazzi. Then it was Hendrik Viol ahead of James Owen, Danilo Del Favro, Andrew Morrow. And then from Andrew Morrow, it was Herbert Guys, David Agabadze, and Hanno Luskowski. Here are the highlights. So some clear-up going on in Trofeo Pirelli, the Drivers' Championship. Franz Engstler on 16 points, Ben Svalint on 13, Timo Glock on 12, ahead of Jean-Luc Daria. Philippe Baron, Max Mugello, and Luca Ludwig, they are the Drivers' Championship points for Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. In Trofeo Pirelli AM, it's Klaus Branson on 17, Marco Zanazzi on 14, Hendrik Viol on 11, James Owen, Danilo Del Favro, and then the rest of the order, as you can see, are points for the Trofeo Pirelli AM Drivers' Championship. Good stuff. Up next, we will be going up to the podium, one for Pirelli and one for Pirelli AM, of course. The tones of Michele Mambelli, then here comes the Pirelli podium. We will be seeing Timo Glock. Auto House Ulrich takes the third step of the podium.
Second driver of the podium, Ben Svalint.
Here comes Ben Svalint to take P2.
And the winner is Franz Engstler.
And Franz Engstler on the top step of the podium yet again.
National anthem. Il nostro applauso, our claps for the winners. On the podium, Coppa Team, GOM Motorsport Engstler.
Yes, GOM Motorsport represented, of course.
And the trophy are presented by Andrea Bertolini, official GT driver.
The official Ferrari GT driver, Andrea Bertolini, making the trophy presentations. Timo Glock in receipt of his P3 trophy.
Second trophy for Ben Svalint.
Receives the P2 trophy, and then to add to the warehouse of trophies that Franz Engstler has, he takes another P1 trophy.
And the trophy for team manager GOM Motorsport Engstler. And Lucio Vergani, Pirelli Motorsport Manager for
Lucio
the winner,
Fagani is
Trofeo
there
Pirelli.
making the Pirelli presentation to Franz Engstler also.
Okay, and now Lucio, Andrea, and all driver on the podium. Okay, near the podium, and please together very near on the first step for photo. And if you can raise your trophy, lift your trophy. Okay. Podium now, race 1, Pirelli and Pirelli AM class. And wait a second, driver, only a second. And after this second, please, the show is not over without champagne.
Oh, well, Franz, you're getting a right royal soak in there, friend. And there you can see Timo, Benz, and Franz really, really enjoying the podium celebrations up there. We're going to be having a podium for our Pirelli AM drivers, of course, as well. And that will be next. Let's see the cars that threw those drivers up to the podium in just a moment. Let's take a look at those that were on the Pirelli podium first of all, though. Driving for Auto Haus Ulrich, taking P3, it was Timo Glock. Ferrari Budapest Rosso Corsa, Benz Valent, P2. And then for Gome Motorsport Engstler, another stunning victory for Franz Engstler. So we will be having our Pirelli AM podium next. Hendrik Viol has already taken step 3.
And the same class for the winner.
Marco Zanassi, step 2. And here comes Klaus Zibranson. Well done to our Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers as we hear the national anthem.
Il nostro applauso, our class for the winners. Please on the podium, team manager Formula Racing.
Formula Racing represented on the podium then for our race-winning team. Race-winning driver, Klaus Branson, of course. Meantime, here's Hendrik Viol for Scuderia Prague Racing, receiving his trophy from our Ferrari official GT driver and driver advisor this weekend in race control, Andrea Bertolini. And Marco Zanassi receives his trophy. Too much applause. And then, of course, it will be Klaus Branson that will receive his race winner's trophy, and he is thrilled about that. Many, many congratulations.
Team manager, the trophy for Formula Racing, guys.
And Formula Racing received their trophy. And, of course, we're not done yet because Lucio Fagani is here to make the Pirelli Trophy Award to Klaus Branson.
Okay.
So everyone together for the photographs, of course. And then you'll see Lucio Fagani and Andrea Bertolini move very, very quickly to avoid the champagne that I feel is going to be pretty lively. Get ready, guys, as they hold up their trophies. Next step is going to be to the champagne bottles.
Okay.
The applause from everyone down in the pit lane then, and there you go, Lucio and Andrea Bertolini are out of the way. And congratulations to our drivers, and thanks to all of our drivers for a fantastic Trofeo Pirelli race. And we have another one of those to come tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye for now.